and welcome to the Capital Gang. I am Oskar Musoke. We started a little bit late, but the weather is perfect for the Capital Gang. In the studio already, I have the one who got pole position, Honorable Kasule Robert Ssemujju. Robert Kasule Ssemujju. You're most welcome to Gang once again.
Thank you, and good morning to the listeners.
Honorable Katuntu, most welcome to Gang.
Thank you.
Honorable Ssemujju, most welcome to Gang.
Thank you. My brother
Robert. Go to the microphone, Abdu.
My brother Robert is more known by his father than he's the son of the late Professor Ssemujju
of the Corona
Ibrahim.
Yes. I wonder, the Ssemujju Ibrahim was supposed to be from my land in Chigo and then on to Bukoto, so that's migration proper.
Yeah, great man he was.
I left rain in Chigo, and I've had comments on the budget. And you know, when any road leading to capital is in such a bad way, I expected Ssemujju to agitate for. Because today, because of the rain and I was a little bit late, I thought let me go behind the Bukoto way. And I see that you've not allocated any money for that one.
That road, passing by Kyagulanyi's office.
Yes.
Maybe that's another reason it will not be fixed.
That's also where I passed. It is in a bad shape.
It's terrible.
It is in a bad
and
shape.
it should be a bypass of some sort to the main.
But isn't Kyagulanyi's office in Kavule? Because I think that one is being worked on.
The
other one is the
This
gym.
one is his original office.
The mother of the office.
The mother of all problems. You nearly said that, Robert.
The mother of all offices.
So you're most welcome. Abdu, during the week we've had this discussion of what's fake, what's not fake. I mean, what skills were you using to see that this letter is fake? Now this one is genuine. Then there was a rebuttal, a denial, which now turned out to be fake. Then there was one confirming that the other one is fake. So how are we to work out these letters? And Minister Chris Baryomunsi also weighed in that if you are leaking letters and...
Well, I don't know whether Minister Baryomunsi was talking about those letters.
He was referring to other letters.
Government documents. But these days, social media with its way of work, somehow they will find a conversation around something which excites and amuses them. And they opened up a conversation. Of course, there was a lot of communication from Plot 1 Uganda, and the letters which I think were written by the president were confirmed by his press unit to have been written by the president. And one which came to be fake was also confirmed to be fake.
He has come to count us again.
And and there walks in Dr. Mukiza. So Ibrahim is no. So yes, it's only one letter I think which, to my understanding, was said to be fake. And there was an official release declaring it. So I don't think we need to have so much conversation about it. However, if it were fake, like it was confirmed to be, the one who faked it knows the style of the one who could have authored.
He's a very good faker.
He's a good faker. Because he just knew the style and so on. And too many people believed it was correct, and they opened up a very, very long conversation about the contents of the letter, which turned out to be fake. But like all fake news, by the time it was said to be fake, those who are interested in those sort of things had enjoyed themselves on the social media.
The first communication that said that letter is fake was also turned out to be fake. and it wasn't even signed.
Press releases are not signed, actually.
Communiques are the ones not.
Yeah, it was some communique which are not. Somebody said there is no reference. You see, there are people who are excited with the contents of the fake letter. So they really wanted everybody to believe that actually
a lot of people felt it was quite exciting.
Exactly. So that was the reason. That was the reason. But to me, it's a conversation which is not all that very
No
useful.
worries. Honorable Ssemujju, can presidents leak their own letters?
It's possible. From my experience as a journalist, there are things that we don't ordinarily say, but it depends on which audience and the purpose.
Journalists don't ordinarily say. Is there
There are
anything
things we
the
don't
journalists
say.
don't
Yes,
say?
there are many things we don't.
Which journalists?
But I know for a fact.
Honorable Katuntu, a lot of people on social media laugh at me for saying, hey, don't say that. I'm going to switch off your microphone.
Yes.
As you are about to say
but
things we all know.
No, but
I will not
by
say.
the time you say they have already heard it.
I will not say the details, Oskar.
Yeah.
But one day we should ask Wafulogutu. Because Wafulogutu is known to Museveni. There are days when Museveni called Wafulogutu to ask him, please, can you put for me this in the newspaper and quote anonymous sources? And it is Museveni. And we knew that this particular story has been authored by Wafula. And then we begin asking ourselves, the boss himself has written the story and is quoting anonymous sources. I know I will not go into the details of some of the stories, but I know that he will do it.
No, but Ssemujju, you know that Pike has told you the same. Kabushenga has told you the same. Mkutu has told you the same.
Yeah.
You know, when they get the phone call from the big man, say, you, that story, and so on.
That's why
Yeah,
I was
but
disagreeing with Ssemujju and said there are things we don't say. He has already said
No. There are some of the stories. I have not said the stories. I have not told you that there are occasions when Museveni used to call Wafula and he says, can you help me publish this story? And then Wafula is quoting anonymous sources. So they also leak their own stuff. But also, Oskar, you understand that in the past we have had Museveni writing letters and denying them.
Really?
When Museveni sacked Tumukunde the first time, he denied that letter was in the New Vision, and William Pike was in trouble. And at a press conference, Museveni was telling him to prove that it is him who had written the letter. That actually Museveni had sacked Tumukunde. But because Tumukunde was also close to the family, I think the family put him under pressure and he rescinded the decision, but he was unable to rescind the letter because he had already gone out. So in the press conference, he was furious. Why? I did not write it. A week later, Tumukunde is sacked now. So you can imagine. I think they sorted out their family issues and he got sacked. So Museveni can write a letter and then deny that he has written it. I know that for a fact. These particular letters, I don't know whether he authored it, but I'm saying it is also possible that he may have authored it and later denied it. But it's also possible that he may not have authored it because people, they can get the content because you can see how Museveni speaks. You pick from the old letters and put together a letter. But so the subject matter, what made this particular letter believable is that this was an ongoing story that was still growing. And therefore anything that came in the same line, whether fake or not, would be believable because it is a subject matter he had himself addressed by, I think, more than one letter. A third one wouldn't be
unbelievable. It would be believable.
Nobody would deny it. Nobody would deny it. So I don't know. So if you ask me whether the letter was fake, I don't know whether it was or whether it was not. Because I've told you in the past, Museveni has authored letters and then he has denied that he has authored them.
In other words, you cannot deny or confirm, but you cannot deny strongly.
There is no way I can say that the letter was fake because the State House said so. Because I've told you, Museveni, in the past, he has authored letters. He has denied them.
Oh, you're most welcome to the studio, Dr. Chris Mukiza. We'll have you in a hot seat very shortly. And I don't know if there are any fake letters that are going to sack you and say because of this census, Dr. Chris Mukiza must retire. Ssemujju will come back here and say that's a fake letter. But good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, Oskar.
How you wish him a good morning? You are sacked.
But I said that would be a fake letter.
And the gangsters,
Yeah.
that one would make me go and rest at home.
Yes.
For us, we are doing a noble duty service. I wouldn't lose any sleep.
Okay. We'll have you.
However,
Don't. I have you lined up for census. But for now, this was a good morning. Welcome.
Okay.
Good morning, Lydia, Honorable Lydia Wanyoto Mutende.
Good morning to you, Oskar, colleagues of the gang.
Good to have you back.
Dr. Chris Mukiza, you're welcome to gang. And in a very smart T-shirt of you, boss. Yes, I'm back. Last Saturday, I was in Mulanda to support OO, like other gangsters. Those of us were there to lay his mother to rest, and may his mother's soul rest in eternal peace.
Amen.
So we were, the quorum was there, Oskar, so we're happy that we were there.
And you have recovered from surgery as well. It's good to see.
Yeah, I also had
healing.
Yeah. I'm back loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, over to
and
you.
I was counted on the first day at 2 p.m.
Lucky
so
you.
I thought Dr. Mukiza should
Lucky
hear
you.
that.
No, Oskar,
in my village at home, Nabweya, Mbale City, Northern Division. Yeah.
In my report to Parliament about the staff of the president, I gave them names of the presidential advisors, 123, and I said, but the newest are not on the list yet, including Honorable Lydia Wanyoto.
We are coming up over in the financial year 2026-2027. No. I might be alive.
There would be a supplementary.
Okay. Honorable Robert.
We are for the
you're back on the microphone. And these fake letters. This particular one was so believable. It came out, the first lot came out leading to a public holiday, the census day, and it seemed to catch fire. But in all these things, President Museveni seems to be gaining. Whether fake or not fake, they are giving him a good profile.
Yeah, but once the authority says the letter doesn't belong to them, there's no way we can insist that it is their letter. But maybe the content was so appetizing to the media. And therefore it trended, and it's like it was like a feel good for the that maybe he has acted or something. But as the earlier gangsters have said, maybe, and I can't deny when Honorable Ssemujju says, because he was in the media for a very long time, so he knows some of those the gymnastics within the press room. When he says Pike was asked to do this, and then Guto was asked, everybody has said so maybe sometimes it is the statecraft behind the scenes. If it is said facts, if it is accepted, because there are many letters the president authors as the fountain of honor. So once they deny one and they accept another, we go with what he provided to us.
But at the same time, if you have Dr. Chris Baramonsi giving out a statement to government officials, stop leaking letters, then it gives you another angle that maybe these are that maybe these are genuine letters, and
maybe they are letters in process and people leak them before they are even signed.
Yes.
So,
and on gang we've had Agatha.
It by the way happens.
Yes.
At the Observer, I did the very first story about Global Fund. The embassies that are contributing to the health sector, Republic of Ireland, I don't remember the others, they met at the UN office and authored a letter to complain that Global Fund money was being misused. So the person who gave me the letter gave it to me before they had signed. But the meeting had taken place and they agreed on the content. So what was remaining was to sign, and then they later go to government. So Professor Omaswa, I had two because the meeting had taken place. Professor Omaswa, who was Director General of Health Services,
and it was hot news,
was all over how I had deceived. Thank God, 2 weeks later, the report of the PricewaterhouseCoopers came out, and Global Fund was a scandal of industrial scale. So these letters, if you get the opportunity to get it even before it is signed, and you're a very active media person, you already have content. Yeah.
Some of them maybe are annoyed civil servants. I mean, it has happened. Remember, Minister, is it Kazinda was which ministry?
in the office of the Prime Minister.
Office of the Prime Minister, they've had leakages there. But it's a worldwide phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon, and exacerbated by social media.
Yeah.
People are very fast. They track the documents. They arrest them before they reach the destination. So some of those things happen. And this time with social media, government has no control. Not even other governments in the region or global.
Yeah. Is it possible to trace who leaked?
Tracing the it's also very difficult.
Sometimes yes.
Sometimes yes.
Yeah, especially if because you see letters are received, so you can see at which stage it can be leaked when only the first person has received.
Yeah.
Then certainly you will know, depending on which stamps are.
Or if it has not been received anywhere, then the author leaked it.
Some of the letters which are copied to different offices, you may not easily know who has leaked, which office has leaked. And to those of us who have received leaked documents, we now protect the office that has leaked. For example, you'll find that it has been leaked 5 offices, and you got it from the third one, and they ticked it that was the third one. So you have to manipulate that tick, and you actually give it to the first one. And somebody will think it is the first person. And there are so many things that go on with people who handle leaked documents.
But Oskar, also, once you say information is leaked, you even sometimes make it more popular than
the topic itself.
Yes, the topic itself is given more
more attention.
Yeah.
But by the time you have an information leaked, you know that it is going to attract public attention. Otherwise, if you think it isn't, whether you leak it, it will be of no consequence.
Yes, Lydia, you onto the microphone before I ask Dr. Mukiza if he has been disturbed also by leaked letters in his organization. These leakages have kept the Speaker of Uganda, or Uganda's Parliament, in the news, whereas this could have died down, and then they find out whether it is true or not. But it's like it has given this story legs.
Yeah, I used to remember the days of WikiLeaks. You remember WikiLeaks?
WikiLeaks.
WikiLeaks used to be down to give us hot news, and it got some people in trouble.
Is it still hiding in an embassy?
But it's still battling.
The WikiLeaks. But now, you see, with social media and the advent of the fourth revolution of IT, we will always have such information in the media. Parliament was in the media when we were still analog. You'd find it every Daily Nation, whether in Uganda or even in Uganda, that weekly topic, headlines had to do with the government and then Parliament. So with social media, you expect Parliament. It's one government institution that is in everybody's sitting room or household, on phones. All of us call our members of Parliament. So it's not just about Right Honorable Anita Among. It is about the institution of Parliament and what it means to people. And just see what has happened this week about the taxes and the budget. Every newspaper you're opening, every social media, even those who not pay the taxes, they are shouting, Parliament has killed us, even when they don't. So I think, I don't know whether I'm wrong, but that's what I see. Because in the whole of the country, yeah, it was everywhere. So you guys, it's about the institution and the work they do. And because of social media, I do not know of any department in Uganda where Ugandans relate directly to people there than Parliament. Each one of us knows something about your MP, what they are doing, what they're not doing, whether you support them or you don't. By the way, we elect them. So whatever they do is we are wired. And now, in many trading centers, I don't know, Honorable Katuntu, whether you have bought TVs, but many members of Parliament, in many trading centers in their constituencies, they've bought TVs for soccer because youth and the pool, this pool. But beyond the soccer, Arsenal and I don't know Manchester, and then the pool tables, people watch Parliament. Parliament is live on some of the TV channels. So it has been very exciting for the health. It keeps. I was in Chitugum. There's a time when I was also in Yumbe. You can't imagine. By 1 o'clock after prayers, people were watching Parliament. My MP's there, he has not come. He sees it's there. And I was at a restaurant. So
and the trouble is with those who don't speak at all. So they see him every day. But
so I think that's the way I look at the institution. And I'm sure that the MPs themselves, I also know that these days with media and TV networks everywhere and phones, they should know that the whole country has an interest in them. And that's the only institution that I know that many Ugandans directly relate to. They know somebody in that place at a personal level. So that's the way it is. And I think we should take it that way. And that's
what it should be anyway.
Yeah,
that's what it
should take it that way. I agree. And when we should also, you've talked about the speaker, but at our level as Ugandans, we should differentiate issues of the individual person, the institution, but also Uganda. And our debate cannot be Katogo everywhere. No, we should be able to differentiate the level of debate. If something is about the decision of Parliament and it's affecting Uganda, we should raise the occasion and defend our country and be able to see for that. If it's about individuals, that's a different matter. That's a personal matter, and we should also. But when we do the mix, we lose the debate. Yeah, that's what I see. Yeah.
Dr. Mukiza, I saved the question for you. How does your organization work with these leaks, rumor, and so on? Because as a government organization in charge of research, in charge of knowledge, and so on, surely you also suffer from the same problem.
We have not faced technical leakages like data. A lot of everybody have faced leakages of administrative
nature
information. And the source of the leakage is mainly indiscipline
among staff.
Those are the main ones. When you hear that something has leaked, the leakage has come from within.
Disgruntlement, maybe?
Yes. Disgruntlement, but also there are errands.
Of recruitment.
There are also errant staff who want to be spoilers permanently. But also we've faced issues where, for example, there is an investigation going on and the investigators leak the information to the media before you even know. And then you wonder whether you're investigating through the media.
So maybe
that one comes from the so-called whistleblowers trying to ensure that the public knows what's going on even before the person being investigated. So largely I can attribute it to gross indiscipline in the institutions and also generally the moral fabric, fiber of the citizens of Uganda has generated, and also the free press, as Robert says, the social media has exacerbated the leakage. Now we need to know that these things will continue happening. How you deal with them after the leakage matters now.
You put out a correct statement. Before the census came up, the leakage, the rumor that was running around the organization was that you bought fake machines. Tablets. So now tablets, because people were presenting to you the good ones and you refused to get the good ones, then you took the bad ones. So when the exercise started and the machines were not working, people said, we told you.
No, machines never failed to work, as I said last Saturday. There is no machine that was brought back to Statistics House for repair. What the problem was, login issues, credentials. So if that rumor came, it must have been a sour graping supplier who failed to get the tender.
Procurement.
Yes. And I think their dreams now were shattered when the things started working everywhere the next day.
Okay, we are going to come back to that. Let's go to the Shadow Minister of Finance here.
But it might be a moment.
Yes.
Let me think the okay, I can't say the rumored the appointment of IGP is also not fake. Which then we should congratulate him because they have said they have
yes.
a new IGP.
I saw that on social media, but since you are seated in Ofono Pondo's chair, it is you who must confirm, people of the ruling party. Hey. So, Honorable Ssemujju, if you listen to the news this morning on Capital FM, it says the 72 trillion national budget was proposed, up from 58 trillion. You can see that's an increment of about 20 trillion. But what is most catching is that it caught some parliamentarians by surprise. Is that correct?
Not necessarily. You see,
Those who in the budget committee.
the revision of that budget upwards, the formal document revising the budget came hours into the process itself when we were about to pass it. I think Capital would be right to say that it caught many MPs. But if you're a politician, you're a journalist, and you follow things and you're waiting for official things, you will die. Because you all knew all along that you will die. Yeah, you will die of heart attack. Heart attack. The processes that eventually present those formal documents are processes that will go on at night every day. Mr. Museveni, I know for a fact, has been convening meetings at State House. Some of the meetings are attended by the leadership of Parliament. I am shocked that even these days the Chief Justice attends those meetings making the budget, because in the Constitution the budget is between the executive and the Parliament. But he has also been attending. So we knew, because even when the Honorable Musasizi on March 28th presented the 58 trillion budget, he spoke about a corrigenda that they may, of course, the magnitude maybe is what was shocking, because it has never happened that you revise a budget by 13 trillion. Because, Oskar, the budget making processes under the Public Finance Management Act has parameters. One of the requirements in the law is that Parliament must look at the work plan and procurement plans. When you present an extra 13 trillion revising the budget, it means you've taken away part of Parliament's work. But if you can allow me, Oskar, to go to the substantive issues, I did write a minority report, but I also written a comment, try to help people who are in a position like myself, who are not like Sebunya, who are knowledgeable in the field. I have tried to use the ordinary language for me and for those. There are about 3-4 things about the budget. First, the total.
Yeah.
The second thing is the financing of that 72 trillion budget. This budget, the projection of URA is that next year they will collect 31 trillion shilling. Yes, that's the projection, up from 29. In the budget, on the side of financing, you have about 9 trillion, which will come in as both loan and grants, project support. Once that money comes in, government can't touch it. If it is to construct a school, you cannot divert to construct a health center. And then the rest of the money, about 32 trillion or even more, is going to be borrowed from commercial banks here, from other countries, from all sorts of sources. But the most interesting thing for anyone to note is that You have tax projection next financial year, 31 trillion. Now I have moved from the financing to actually the real spending, because you need to understand this budget is going to be spent on what? The biggest item in the budget is debt servicing at 34 trillion. 47% of the budget is going to be debt servicing. It moves from 18 trillion of last financial year. And that's why I was warning MPs that every day you keep passing loans here, you must understand the implication. I actually, in my own ordinary way, since I'm not an economist, I will not be blamed. I think Uganda is bankrupt.
But you are fit for Papa.
Uganda is bankrupt because you cannot be correcting 31 trillion and then you are debt servicing 34 trillion. In my own view, you are bankrupt. You have to go and borrow. Of course, bankruptcy means other things. So that's the biggest item in the budget. Then the second...
But it assumes that we will collect the 31 trillion.
We don't. Last financial year, we collected 23.
Instead of 29.
Instead of 29. This financial year, the ones that we are about to finish, the target was still 29. By the third quarter, we have 3 months to go. We had collected only 20. That's why the URA had conservatively put the projection at 29. But Mr. Museveni and the Chief Justice and the Speaker and the rest of the politicians who are meeting, they shoot the project because they want their items to fit in. So the projection is academic. URA cannot correct that money. But also interestingly, even the one they intend to borrow, there is a document I've forgotten. I don't know if Musa has brought Minister of Finance to Parliament. And they said they went into the market to borrow money. They couldn't. The external market, he said now dollar and pound, you're borrowing at 10%. He said, please, we need to tighten. We can't borrow money at 10%. So the second big item after debt servicing is wages, which is now at a trillion. I mean at 8 trillion. And for me, the point I was making to Parliament were the other things that you're going to finance using the budget. And I put a list coming to about 5.4 trillion. Because you're going to pay government workers 8 trillion. You buy them vehicles, you fuel them, you replace them. And there are all sorts of items. Donation now has gone, which was most controversial. Near the NRM MPs linked me. The donation is at 160 billion. Inland travel 711 billion. Travel abroad 100 billion. You have special meals about 300 billion. So the total of all that comes to 5.4 trillion. And I told Parliament we cannot continue borrowing. We are a country that is highly indebted. So instead of further borrowing, we remove all these items from the budget. And then even the wage bill itself, I did say here, if I recall, I was in Kenya recently, they are reviewing their wage. And the guidance from the president is that we need more technical than support staff. And I gave the examples in Parliament. When you appoint one RDC, he comes with 3 staff, a driver, a secretary, and a escort. So in Kenya, it is now vice versa. The president says 70% of the public payroll must be of technical people you cannot avoid. Because but these younger people can drive themselves. I told you, Katuntu here, and you know it. All the time I met Honorable Gerard Sendaora, he was driving himself, even when he was Minister of Finance, and with no escort. He was moving in a car on, driving himself. And you appoint young people. They also have some other younger people who, instead of being in gardens that they are driving RDC that they are escorting, give them pistol, take them to Kawet and train them. But another DC, because it's now status. When he's arriving at a function, someone must be following with a gun to show that a big man opened the door. Useless things for a poor country. So I told the Parliament, all those things we can remove them.
But don't MPs drive themselves?
They do.
I do.
Yeah. I said you can remove them from the budget and then stop the borrowing, because further borrowing, we are going to a crisis. The debt now, public debt, is at 97 trillion, which is 52% of our 184 GDP. And then I was on the issue of the the wage bill. And I said, there are many people. I looked at the staff of the president. At his residence now, he has 1,300, including all sorts of people you can never imagine. Presidential advisor on chicken, presidential advisor on egg, presidential advisor on kanyarero.
Look for my name.
No. Yeah, certainly because you, I had to look for Lydia.
Looking for my name, and then you didn't find it.
Lydia's name was not there. And actually, I told Parliament that you have 123. Yeah, you have 123 presidential advisors, but there are
3 more coming.
No. That's the number that is known. Sometimes even State House doesn't know. They were complaining in their document that the president has big staff. Sometimes we are praising them. They have no qualification. Because Butcherman, Kusasira, they are all there. Where there is supposed to be qualification, they have put in any numbers. That's the payroll of State House. I am telling you, these things are in the document. They are not from my head.
This is a special finance minister.
Of course, for me, I try to understand these documents because maybe others understand them. I try to read to understand them. So even the 8 trillion for the wage, it can be trimmed if you are running a serious government. Remove people who shouldn't be on a payroll. I looked at local government, these districts in their hundreds. The budget for local government now is 6 trillion. 3.3 wages, another trillion fuel, this. So the money that remains for developing these districts is 600 billion.
Actual service delivery. 600
billion. So you have a budget of 6 trillion and only 600 billion is for development. The rest is for staff, for politicians. And I also did tell Parliament we need to deal with public administration because the last elections, Uganda elected 2.8 leaders, 2.8 million.
Yes.
The projection by Electoral Commission, which is asking for 2.5 trillion to finance elections, is that at the next election we are going to elect 3.3 million leaders. I did ask MPs, you guys, do we deserve this huge parliament of 559 MPs who are never in parliament?
And still counting.
Throughout these processes of budget and taxation, we have not been 100. They are not there. The speaker was complaining, where are you guys? I am now going to capture your faces and put them in the newspapers. So in a nutshell, Oskar, we are in a crisis, a financial crisis. We don't have money to fund the budget. We have borrowed, but the debt servicing, I have told you, last financial year, 18 trillion. It has now jumped to 34. I don't know what it will be when you go to pick another 30 to 40 trillion to finance the budget. Crisis after crisis. So I told the NRM MPs that you guys, you are slowly but steadily bankrupting the country.
Abdu Katuntu, if Honorable Mohammed Mwanga Chivumbi says MPs are not scrutinizing the budget, who is listening to Ssemujju?
Actually, they are listening. I was in the house. By the way, we sat after around 11 p.m., past 11 p.m. And we had sufficient numbers.
Sufficient?
Yes. Quorum. And when the Honorable Ssemujju was presenting his alternative, I could see everybody following. Never mind the style of presentation. He has a unique one. But if you are to not pay attention to Ssemujju's style of presentation and you look at the substance, it would be below the average of a thinker not to seriously think about what he was presenting. He put it a little bit simply, that you cut your clothes according to
your size.
To your size. Are we all that rich to start thinking we are going to spend 72 trillion? And that's the biggest, that's the big question. It's only one question. And I'll tell you, I don't want to say that the problem is necessarily the executive. Parliament has a big share in the blame to this. And I'll tell you why. The BFP
Which is?
Budget framework paper.
Okay.
The first draft.
That first draft. It was around 52. And that is the realistic technical figures given. But because the budget is eventually a political process, when it went to the committees of parliament, every sectoral committee came up asking for money.
I'd actually put it to 100 trillion.
They want to see themselves.
You are talking about 72. When you read the sectoral committee reports, it goes to 100.
And you add up, yes.
Because their priorities are now different. They are trying to answer
their inward, their sectors.
To their constituency or so-called popular needs. We need this, we need this, we need this. This road of mine is not in the budget. Everything. And eventually...
So these are not... I need you to say a little bit more about sectoral committee.
Committees of Parliament.
These are committees of Parliament.
Yes.
Increasing the budget.
Yes.
Not Ministry of Finance.
Recommending increase of budgets.
And
the word they use...
And not technical people from the ministry.
Yes. No, the technical they do it together.
Yeah.
And the sectoral committees, and there is a budgeting language we use. We say unfunded priorities. That there is this priority,
there are gaps,
and there is money has not been provided for in the budget or in the framework paper. And I'm telling you, when you read those reports, all of them, there is no committee that said, yes, we have 52 trillion, let us work within 52 trillion. Oh, can we cut this? But there's another also twist to it, Oskar. Sometimes these technical people know that there are these issues which Parliament will ask anyway.
So they leave them out.
They leave them out.
Yes, I thought so.
They leave them out
put theirs.
and put others. And Parliament, some of them actually is what Ssemujju was talking about. You know, when you look at maintenance of vehicles, blah, blah, blah,
So
those ones are already put in there.
Yeah. So they leave what MPs really feel for the community.
They leave out what MPs think are the priorities. So eventually it goes back to come without the final document. What we again use, the word we use is corrigenda, which means actual amendments or adjustments. And that's when it rose from 58 to 72. But Oskar,
20 trillion.
not
about 13.
It's about
13,
14 trillion. You see, what all of us should think about, this economy is not doing as good as it should be. There are things we cannot afford to do. And Ibrahim here ably brought them out item by item. There are a few things where we can have a difference of opinion. But when you look at what he particularized, I think 70 to 80%, we cannot afford them. Take, for example, Oskar, maintenance of vehicles. How much is it?
Maintenance is 130.
100 and what?
30 billion.
30 billion.
One financial year.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me ask you, which vehicles are these?
The flying vehicles.
Which vehicles are these where we are going to use 130 billion? That's why sometimes
it might be even cheaper to buy them.
That's why Keith, let his soul rest in peace, objected to giving MPs vehicles because they were saying, okay, all MPs should have vehicles. Then he said, no, we give them a what? A one-off. Because what happens if you give him a vehicle, it's a government vehicle. Therefore, you must maintain it, you must fuel it. And the driver. So at the end of the day, they gave MP 200 million. The cost of that vehicle after 5 years, if you have to give him a government vehicle, they calculated that.
I'll give you an example. Yeah. When I was chief opposition whip, I was given a car. It breaks down. The process of originating documents, what they wanted to replace was 36 million. It went to those listed garages. It came back not functioning. They put another 17. It was not functioning until I personally took it to Chiseka Market, and I used 3 million for it to function. But the government had put in 50.
And yes, and that is what's happening throughout the government
Across.
infrastructure. Oscar, sometimes we blame the politicians, and you are rightly so, because we are supposed to be the decision makers. But the biggest culprit of this are your so-called technical staff. Just go in Ministry of Finance, and you see how many vehicles are there. And they are none of them it belongs to even a politician. These ones you see all over you with the red number plates all over the place. So you leave, fuel is how much?
Fuel is 300 billion, 370 actually.
370 billion.
Wow.
And you can, so just about vehicles alone, I think
644 billion.
644 billion. Vehicles alone. So we can look in some of those things. And, countries have done it before. And Ssemujju doesn't tire about reminding people about what goes on in Rwanda.
Yeah.
So give people what? Give people a loan, and then they buy their own vehicles and maintain them, other than loading that bill on the taxpayer. It is cheaper, but I can tell you that, yes, we can blame the politician, but the people who even originate this like those vehicles. Let me give you an example. Just if I were an intelligence officer, just wait on the day of school opening, Taiba school.
Okay, another school.
Don't use schools.
Okay.
Hospitals opening.
It do the international school. And you see how many red number plates are dropping. Both the holiday, what do you call it? When they are going for holidays, picking or dropping, and so on, or even visitation. So these vehicles eventually are not doing public work, because that fuel of that Commissioner Katuntu, who has his kid at Taiba, when he's using that UG of UBOS to drop my junior Katuntu there, he's not using fuel of Katuntu. He's using public fuel. And that's one of the fuels.
No, he should be using personal fuel.
Of course, that is not a government function. So that's what it is. And you can go on and on and on. And he listed, I think there were around 20 items, which he said we can look at it. And I think we can look at it. But does it make a political sense to look at some of those items?
But Abdu, the interesting thing is that
5.4 trillion.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that when Ramadan Govi was still working with Sada, you remember, the president said they had identified 7 trillion. It is the same things that Govi had identified before he became
to take out of the budget.
Then it was economics that works. These days, I don't know whether he uses that term anymore.
So
the budget, yes, we passed it. It is a political budget, but this is the good news. It is on paper.
Yeah.
It is on what?
paper.
On paper.
It's an estimate.
It can't be, because it is no longer. That's what we are supposed. But I can tell you, Oskar, there is no we are going to spend 72 trillion because we don't have it. Instead, these people who are planning, like Dr. Mukiza, should know that their worker plan, yes, you've covered, you have this budget, but no, Ramadan is not going to receive that money because you will not have it. So during the process, we are going to have what they call budget cuts, non-release, or half releases. They are coming.
Okay.
The issue is, if we know it is coming, why do we go into it anyway?
Let's stop for a break, and after the break, I'll ask Robert Kasule Sebunya why government would wish to borrow from private entities.
The Capital Gang on Capital FM. Capital FM's Capital Gang, in association with Uganda Martyrs University, making a difference.
This is the Capital Gang.
Ssemujju talked about the meetings.
Okay.
And on this one, I have to come in and explain.
Go on very quickly before Robert comes in.
Yeah, because why the Chief Justice attends.
Yeah.
Chief Justice went to defend his budget with the Speaker.
They
The matter was resolved.
go to the microphone.
But even in documents of Govi now.
Honorable Ssemujju, you need to be on the microphone.
No, because
Yes.
you see, the 120 under Article 128.
Yes.
The judiciary is self-accounting, and it deals on matters of budget directly with finance, and finance is the president. You get it?
Yeah.
So the chief just getting involved in the budgetary meetings, that is normal. It is constitutional because it's judiciary is supposed to deal directly with the president.
No. We are talking about completely different things.
Okay.
What you have said about the law is correct. That they will prepare a budget of the judiciary.
Yes.
The president will make a comment. There will be a meeting between them.
Yes.
But if you look at all the corresponding documents from Govi, every changes they make, they are copying to Chief Justice. So he has been now made part of the budget making process. All the documents I will show you out. It's not just a meeting that he has gone to deal with his own budget, but the rest of the budget he's involved. So these meetings that have been taking place in the State House and he has been there.
Construction of a port
Yeah.
No,
Even in Parliament. Even in Parliament.
They might cut the judiciary budget.
Even in Parliament
to
itself.
finance the other one.
Even in Parliament itself, the leadership of Parliament should only stop interacting with the president when they are dealing with the budget of Parliament. But they are part of all these items they are squeezing in. So them and the Chief Justice are involved in what they shouldn't.
That I have a different opinion.
That you prepare a budget and go and approve it yourself. You can't.
Okay.
So, Robert, if government is borrowing, we're looking at another aspect. If government is borrowing from the private sector, it means the private sector is not going to have any money.
Yeah, because the government borrowing from the private sector, of course, means they use instruments, bonds, treasury bills. Those are the instruments they use to collect, to get money in order to finance.
Let me first get these MPs to stop whispering. So they use instruments, bonds, treasury bills, and so on.
Treasury bills.
Yes.
Why they say it is from the private? Okay, squeezing out the private sector.
Yeah.
Is when these bonds are very attractive to even banks. So government goes and borrows where banks would also compete. And therefore, the banks would not prefer to borrow to an individual with such high risk when they can borrow the money to government.
But Robert, bonds, treasury bills, that's like Bank of Uganda direct, even though you channel it through your account. But if the government is saying, I will borrow from Stanbic Bank.
In Oskar, if you look at the way even the debt servicing is structured, as he said, they borrow through Bank of Uganda, but they also independently go to the banks and borrow. In the budget, what they will borrow through Bank of Uganda is 10 trillion. They usually put very good words. Domestic debt, Bank of Uganda. But then they also have another 10 trillion that they will go and borrow directly. So they will borrow through the Bank of Uganda 10 trillion and then go to the banks themselves and borrow another 10 trillion. So you're talking about 20 trillion that will be borrowed in that fashion.
And there's another one which is quite important. Yes. The 10 trillion which is being borrowed, and it came on the floor.
Directly from the banks.
From the banks. 90% of those banks are all foreign owned.
Yeah.
Foreign owned banks.
Yes. Meaning actually we are borrowing from foreigners. Because if you borrow 900 billion from Stanbic, you have actually borrowed it from South Africa. You get it?
So back to Europe.
And then eventually that money, because these guys repatriate their monies.
But Robert, if the government has taken a borrowing of say 10 trillion, it means Katuntu's business, Katuntu and Sons advocates cannot access a loan.
Or he can access a loan, but at a high interest.
At a high interest. So but if he cannot access a loan or access a loan at a high interest, it means that he will not be able to pay the tax needed to get the other 31 trillion.
I think we have.
Is anyone looking at these things?
Yeah, but I'm only happy that now Parliament, maybe Honorable Ssemujju here, is able to dissect the budget and put it in the.
This budget has made Ssemujju look good.
Yeah, but always we have had the opposition.
These things have always been on the floor.
The opposition side has always presented the real.
So that this and Nwaga put it. Said, look here, this time please can you listen? Because all these issues, Oskar, have been there. But this time can you listen?
So we have already had good reports from opposition as far as the budget dissection is concerned, and maybe my brothers and sisters on our side cannot articulate the way the opposition is articulating these issues, because sometimes there is a selfish interest by the members of this side, but also that's what the finance minister has put on the table for them. Maybe to put it simply, Ssemujju has put it very simply. This is the problem we have. This is the mountain we must climb in the next year, financial year. And what that means, at release, unless we have gotten a new source of income, is oil coming on stream? Are we going to export gold? So they must ask themselves. This is the spending side. What about the revenue side?
It's a challenge.
Yes, if you have a malnourished cow and you
still want your 20 liters.
You want your 20 liters. What do? You will milk it to death.
You even milk urine.
So we need leaders to critically think about our actions. A budget is a good, big document, an important document. But when it is bulged so much and then you have so little to provide in terms of revenue or financing it, then the ultimate loser is our voters at service delivery. The bad thing is that we're cooking so many things at the same time. We want the train, we want the port,
we want the gauge, we also want
the railway, we want the pipeline. Huge projects, huge projects. And yet our development partners are also squeezing us out. Through other means. They are not providing the loans,
donations.
They provide them too late, and they are multi-year. They are so. I mean, they cut the budget in multi-year.
Even loans, and it goes back to again what Ssemujju was saying.
Yes.
To what extent are we going to borrow? Because that's now a big issue. Haven't you reached the red limit? Because if you look at the DP, the ratio,
yes,
the GDP ratio, it's now 52%.
Okay. So, but at least the loans, especially for development, like you have all said, our recurrent expenditure is much bigger than development side. So that means unless we borrow for those infrastructures, we can't use our locally collected revenue to do any meaningful development in terms of roads, in terms of ports. So sometimes it goes without saying, where else are you going to pick money to do a road in Koboko, like the one that was commissioned yesterday, 110 kilometers towards the border? So I think, as you have said, the only way is to cut our cloth according to our size. The bulged administrative cost of administration must be looked into. You had tried with rationalization, but you also did have maybe a quarter way. Maybe it was not planned so well. So we have we have to look inside our own and then know how to spend otherwise.
Here's a cynical man, Dan in Kampala, says adjusting the budget to 72 trillion. The last moment is just to make the debt to GDP ratio appear below 50%, to give leeway for borrowing. If it remains at 52 trillion, then it will be 62%, which appears too much.
Okay. I know.
No, the budget has nothing to do with
interpretation.
Budget has nothing to do with the GDP and debt.
No.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, but what I credit for Parliament, they know the items, and Ssemujju has helped to itemize what the budget is all about. Put it simply for them, these are the items that we're going to spend money on. So what do we do?
We make them bigger.
Should we? Are we going to expect all this revenue to come from the public? No. The finance bills that you passed, they amount to that increment. They are going to bring in that much, the excess of 14 trillion. So those are all questions for Parliament.
With the 52,
you had failed to.
No, in fact, in fact, the last financial year, not this one ending June, the one that ended June 2023.
Yes.
With the supplementary, the budget had become 54 trillion.
Yes.
But the actual money available was 43 trillion.
So you had
43 trillion.
But the budget had been made. That's the money that was available.
Actually spent.
Spending.
Yeah, it's spent.
Spent. So I think it is with the Parliament and then the executive.
It has gone now.
Now, as they have said, also the judiciary has come in. So it is these three arms of government to control the appetite.
But the judiciary will not help control because they believe they are underfunded. And that's, as Abdu was saying, they are in there to make sure no one is cutting anything.
And when they go there, they are also urging, say, please, we need more money.
Money.
Yes.
So, at the end of the day, Oskar, this is Uganda. And we must manage our appetite on spending. We must, as you have said, maybe IFRIS will help streamline some of these sources where money has not been collected. And our traders, this is an indication that IFRIS and others other measures that Revenue Authority is putting in place must be actualized. We must make sure that we pay our portion of taxes in order to fund this budget. Otherwise, Kenya will not come in to help us, or no Congo. We must make the money here and spend it here. Yes.
It's interesting when you say we must pay taxes. A lot of people think that paying taxes is, again, for you leaders. It is just for you people. But that's a discussion that we should have at some point this year.
Yes.
Lydia.
And what they have said is, let us rethink. When we appoint RDCs, why don't the RDCs drive themselves? They are driving within the same district. They don't need
They'll tell you there's job creation.
But you recently appointed deputy RDCs as well.
These are young boys, young youth enough to drive themselves. We must find ways of cutting costs in order to fit.
So, Lydia, do you think some of these things Ssemujju has been agitating about, can they be cut? For example, travel, per diem, because that's again another thing that came up with the parliamentary exhibition.
Saturday, you must make sure that he moves to
New York
to defend the public servants. We have our public servant salaries are so suppressed that maybe this is the only privilege.
They have improved, by the way.
To if they drive the government cars.
I think the word
is to be frugal.
Is to be frugal because you cannot give somebody a job which requires travel and you say don't travel. But to be frugal with the resources. If you're in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there's no you're not going to travel. Uganda is not an island. Uganda is part of actually they have even statutory obligations. They have committed. Our country has committed itself to international obligations. We've signed out to EAC, to COMESA, to African Union. So there's no you can say now travel is banned. I mean, yes. I think the other day. The other day, Katuntu sent us a picture taking the oath. So for the next 5 years, is going to be, and you cannot miss Uganda's voice at the AU. We are part of the African Union. So my point is that I think
maybe we
should
could
be
give him $200
frugal.
for per diem. Frugal.
Usually, but I mean the cost of hotels in South Africa, you don't ask Katuntu to stay on the street. By the way, one time they tried to go to stay in cheaper places, and they were mugged.
You know what happened?
They are mugged. So you.
But that's not me.
They were mugged. But Katuntu, I'm right. So
very right.
So now, I think we should talk about being
so
frugal.
When you say frugal, what do you mean? Because Ssemujju in Frugality has said you can save 5.4 trillion. Now you on this table, you are one of the most powerful people in the country because you go to SEC. So are you going to collect this list from Ssemujju? The next time you're at SEC, say, guys, this time round, let's listen to these people, and we save 5.4 trillion.
All that 5.4 is going to be saved. But he said, look at these particular items. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. We can rationalize them
and
come with realistic figures.
Okay. Let's equip
the point
Lydia
I'm going to, I saw some of the list of expenditures. For example, what they call expendables, stationery, toner. You've bought people tablets like Dr. Mukiza has done. Then even for internal memos, you are all photocopying. You are doing double expenditure for government. So for me, if you say frugal, you can have a paperless organization and communication. Only use the toner and paper, maybe for backup hard copy. So we have to train our people even on being frugal. When anything government, there is an element of waste. That's what I've seen. So we require people to be more frugal, Oskar. And if I was somewhere, Katuntu, if you have a workshop, like how parliamentary committees move in the country, you've gone to Padel. And Parliament, I've seen people, you can move in a parliamentary bus. But I have seen departments of government, all people drive to a workshop. When you go to a meeting, you find the 40 government vehicles packed for one workshop. When members of parliament move into a coaster. So that's I'm now giving you examples of being frugal. Why do you want to drive all your vehicles?
In Chigo, sometimes like 10 sirens have come.
Now you see my point.
It is still morning, and they're all going to the Serena.
If we are all going to
15 sirens.
If we are going to a workshop, I think now my point has been made, because every vehicle then there will be a claim of fuel. But use a bus. I think you boss, you have a bus. If you are going to a workshop, use a bus. I've seen it for.
You want Dr. Mukiza to sit in a bus?
I've seen it. I mean, members of parliament use the.
The rest of the staff.
You know, I'm giving you an example. I'm giving you an example, Oskar. I have seen. And that's why I have seen it with frugal. Yes.
Those 10 sirens, when they come
you
across
can imagine
Road, then they park at then all their escorts are also seated around the car park and the gate, probably hungry.
Look at just
no. Let me tell you, when time for lunch comes, even the staff are entitled to lunch.
The escorts.
The escorts. And do you know how much lunch is at Chigo, Serena?
Plate. They count plates.
It is a 45,000.
70.
What?
Sometimes 100.
100,000. So when you hear special meals, those are the sort of things.
So finally, another example said that on a national day, let me give this example. On a national day, call it Labor Day or Heroes Day. The venue is one, it's a national day. What is so difficult? I've seen members of parliament all converging at parliament, sit in the bus, go for the national day and come back. But we have government officials, everybody is driving, yet they know they're going to make a return journey to the national day. So you reach the venue, either it's Fort Portal or Mbale, you find the whole field is full of vehicles. But each of those vehicles has drawn money, fuel from the government. There's servicing, maintenance, and then the meals. So I think that the point of frugalness, yes.
Institutions, agencies should buy buses.
No, I'm saying. First, wait. I'm explaining being frugal.
And Kasule Sewunye is in charge of delivery. That was the point of it.
Because
and my sister Lydia is in charge of planning.
Yeah, but you are stubborn.
Planning authority.
I'm at the national. Yes.
So Lydia is saying finally,
you'll find my name at the planning authority, but that's what we plan and advise. And for example, Kasule, let me make a correction for you. There should be interagency relations. I do not think that the Prime Minister's office, commissioners and directors, you can go to Parliament and ask for a vehicle for a national day, and they say buy yours. They will give you a vehicle. They will give you one bus.
Okay.
For them, they take one. Even ministers can use at a venue.
Thank you. That
Lydia. Does not make you a less Ugandan. I'm talking about being frugal. But Katuntu talked about planning. We planned, but Ugandans, you are very stubborn. You want your titles. You want to spend what you have not, and so we leave you with it. Because maybe we need to review the pecs of government, because people are so tight to their entitlement against what we have in the basket. Because Dr. Mukiza here, on appointment, he has his privileges. But again, when they get these offices, they add others. Every ED now, I don't know about Dr. Mukiza, but every ED, every commissioner now has a lead car and the backup. But these vehicles have government number plates. So who is funding those? Ssemujju, who is funding the lead vehicles?
Thank you.
Being frugal.
Thank you, Lydia. Dr. Mukiza, do you have a lead car and a back car?
No.
Okay.
I don't have, and when you have a function...
Is it part of your entitlement? So you're being frugal?
When you have a function where many staff are going to, we have two buses. One was bought in the Census of 2002, the Isuzu bus, and the other one Census 2014. And that's where we convey our staff to that function. But for me, because I can easily be called anytime when you have gone for a workshop, then I have to move in my vehicle. We are entitled to security, but me, I move with my security, my bodyguard in my car. No lead car, or no for car. Because the good thing is that I'm a practical economist.
Yeah.
Talking about savings, we are doing a digital census, and I've told people that this is digital census strictly. So somehow there was a procurement of stationery which came, even having passed through the whole process, Solicitor General. Then I saw I needed money for others. I called my management team that this one I can't sign the contract. And I saved about 476 million.
That's the way to go.
So the CEOs should be prudent in implementation of their mandate. That's what I say. And regarding working together, yes. For example, this census, all the vehicles in 146 local governments, districts and cities, were not hired. We reached out to Electoral Commission, they gave us the vehicles for registrars. We reached out to ISO, they gave us. So every district, yes, has those vehicles. For trucks that were conveying materials, we got from UPDF, we got from prisons, we got from police and the commission, and that one saved the money. So I think that's the way to go.
So this is for this census, but previously, because we're just concluding on this topic, and then we now tackle you on the issue of a census. There's a time Ssemujju came here and he said even MPs had not been paid. So when you are faced with such in bits, so when you face such circumstances, how has your organization gotten on?
No, I want to recall what Honorable Katuntu said. The budget passes on paper. Yes. We know that the releases are always about 60%.
Yeah.
And every ministry, institution, and even Parliament, I heard them crying the other day that the Secretary of Treasury reduced their allocation as if it's... So you cut your coat by the size of the clothes you have. So of course we need a budget. If resources are found, everything is funded. But when there's nothing, then we prioritize reprioritize.
Okay.
And maybe if there are critical issues, areas to address, you push them to the next financial year. And that's what we normally do. We change work plans in the course. We repurpose and then adjust.
And on to the census, Abdu here says that you had a challenge because everyone knew a census was coming up, but the money was not there.
It wasn't even in the budget, but
it was there, they removed it. It came through supplementary.
that comes through supplementary. That is why they call it purpose.
Oskar, the interesting thing, we have an election coming up in almost a year.
Yeah.
And
The Electoral Commission asked for 2.5 for 3 years. But even that, the 400 they have given them, they had to go and kneel down and negotiate. It came through a agenda at the last minute. The one of the census.
Yeah.
I think their initial budget, if I recall, was about 600 billion. But they put maybe 50. Then they had to bring a supplementary, I think, where they put 300. I don't know how much it has come to.
From what I see, Dr. Mukiza does not want to complain about budget today.
Yeah.
But
I will complain after. When I have delivered.
But it's all about planning.
Yes.
Because you see, we all knew after every 10 years
There will be census. And we need it.
And you need adequate resources in time.
Yeah. But because we use this a cash budget, we
our priorities are different.
We pay as we go.
pay as you go. But the budget items away. Now we are looking at census. Let me also do, Lydia. Let me do a quick poll here. Lydia, you have been counted. Yes.
Yes, I was counted on the first day.
Excellent. Robert, you've been counted.
I was counted on Saturday.
Okay. OSM, you've been counted. No.
Me, I was counted.
Abdu, you've been counted.
No.
No. The answers are yes or no.
No.
Ssemujju, have you been counted?
Yes, I have been counted.
So today at least it is not so bad. Mukiza, have you been counted?
In the studio, it's 99%.
Hold on. Dr. Mukiza, have you been
they
counted?
counted in my household on Saturday.
On Saturday. Okay. So 2 out of 6 have been not counted yet.
What percentage is that?
What percentage is that? It's not 99% as it is saying.
You can
maybe a 70%.
You can do the percentage, but this is not a representative sample. It's highly biased. It's highly biased sample. It is not the national.
We can add on the other two.
Yeah, the producers. Some of us are Kampala, like 2 people on Entebbe Road, 1 in my village, Jira, 1 in Bukoto, 1 in Mbale, and
it was in Mbale City. Nabweya.
Yes.
So, give us a status report, Dr. Mukiza.
Yes, the status as of midnight.
And I should tell you, last week after the show, I first had a message, came all the way from abroad, and a certain Peter said, you were very hard on Chris Mukiza. But then another one came up saying, you were very soft on Chris Mukiza. he should have been everyone littering the word sorry in everything he was saying. So, and on social media it was like that.
Yes, I know. I'm a football fan. Here I support Sports Club Villa for a long time.
It is old.
As long as I started coming to Kampala.
When did you come to Kampala? When you're joining university?
It is about 1980 something.
I came in 86 when I was going to Namilyango College for HSC.
For school, yes.
And I support 2 clubs in England. One is Arsenal.
I almost thought so. You're so smart.
Yes. One is Arsenal. And the other club is where I did my PhD from, Southampton, which was relegated and now fighting to
return.
And they don't compete.
To come back. Yes, because my children are playing in St. Mary's. Now, as football fans, find a lot of blames. I want to sack the coach as soon as yesterday, even when he makes the mistake from the beginning. You wanted to tear a striker who has failed to, they call it a sitter. We are the ones who observe mistakes more than the players and the coach.
We just want goals.
You want goals, and I feel the passion of those fans. And
Coach doesn't pay to enter.
yes,
That's a good one.
you know the good things that Wenger did for Arsenal, building the Emirates now from a small high valley. I used to win, but when he started failing to take the Arsenal club Champions League, the brain came. Yeah. Wenger out. But we forgot exactly. Now, what I'm trying to say that I realized and accepted the anger. In fact, I saw your veins were like as if blood. If somebody had come and touched the blood would ooze out. And the reason was that Ugandans want to be counted everywhere.
It has caused attention.
Yes, apart from these carrots, which are from Abdu Katuntu's region, they have Njirinkaru, that they can't be counted. That the conch gospel. Then the self-styled Jesus.
They are from Bugwedi. You have people don't want to be counted.
Yeah, apart from those, every Ugandan wants to be counted up to today.
Yes.
And so we felt for them because first I think the thinking was that we would finish the whole country in one day. But we explained why we had a public holiday and 10 days. Today is the 9th day. Now, after 8 days, we targeted to cover 10,470,066 households. And this target came from two things. The census of 2014 had 74,000 households. So we looked at the growth rates and the rate at which households grow. We also did mapping, listing of households in the process, and we saw a growth that would take us to 10.5 million households. So that is the target. And on the end of 8th day, we are at 83.2%.
How many households?
These are 8,715,369. We're at 83.2%. Every day I have been counting 1.2, 1.3 million households. Every day. I see from yesterday, from Thursday to yesterday, it has gone to like 1.1, which means the curve is as is expected. Our production frontier is like this because the numbers are. No, but he's watching me.
You explain like this. You talk about the curve on radio.
The curve is going down.
Listening to you.
The curve has reached up
the
and
peak.
is now
coming down.
Yes.
Don't say
so
like this.
we are remaining with less than
this footballer.
2 million households from our target. However,
2 million from your target, and in 1 day, 2 days.
2 days. Yes, that's what I want to say. However, some districts have already surpassed 100%.
They have completed.
No.
From
the projection now they have gone Bodaka. They are a number of those districts. And what does that mean? It means that they are unknown households that we are discovering in the census, and that's the purpose of census. To do a full count and get every household that was not known in the statistical framework known. And we are encouraging them to continue mopping, and even if we reach 150. After that, we shall update our geography and mapping.
Oskar, sorry, I disturb you. See, when they are distributing food during COVID, I went to interact with the EPDF, and they told me they were surprised there were households in taxis. So they come to Kasawaya Estate and people are just they drive in the evening. That is their household. So are you going to count those?
No, those ones we counted them on first day. That's a floating population.
The floating population, even street children.
We counted them on the census night, and all of them, there were 8,170. Yes.
But you have someone on Twitter for
in Mbale State we have street
someone
children.
saying, but this census, truck drivers, street kids and travelers are counted at night. But someone found that his shop during the day can't be counted. That you must go home. I leave home at 7 and return at 11 p.m.
Yes.
But you have a household.
But you are not. You have a household.
These ones have none.
You see, unless they want me to degenerate this thing into technical thing, there are two things that are important in the de facto census. One, the census night, which is the reference night. Even when our enumerators come to you, Oskar, today, they will not be asking you who stayed here last night. It is on the Thursday night. Because that's when we took a snap picture. Yes, because there was a holiday. Remember, there was a holiday. I waited. They didn't come. So the night, which people stayed there. Second is what is a household. A household is a group of people, not family members. A group of people who sleep under one shelter and eat from the same pot.
Dwelling.
The dwelling. Now,
go on.
If you have sons, and it will come to some districts that are forming poorly, what we have discovered. If you have sons with a heart here, which is prominent in Karamoja.
And northern Uganda.
And eastern. When we are listing, the listers were taking them as households. But they forgot the concept of eating together. So some households are underperforming because of that. Now when we are doing the real census, and they're asking who stayed and ate from the same, some households are not there. Because the other sons who had the hearts are in the household of the big mom and the middle heart. So that's what we are now trying to see, whether we do some of those areas we did not overestimate their target. But for other areas like Fort Portal, which reached 120 by yesterday, Fort Portal City. 120%. Yes, and Budaka. We are still telling them, please ensure everybody is counted. And also when you are mapping, the problem comes in his municipality. You see these apartments. Apartments up to 7th floor. Each thing is a household now. Now the mappers would take that whole thing as a household. Now enumerators have been told to go into each apartment. We have actually sent their specialized guys who have been doing the surveys for us. We have now poured them.
I am told, because yesterday I was told by some people who live in apartments that they write something on the door, a kind of a number, which shows that this one has been enumerated. So in the apartment block, there are like 3. The number has been written on, and 7, the number has not been written on.
So it means they have not found that.
Yeah.
And they have told the enumerator that when you find somebody not there, you write all of those and write P. P means pending.
Okay.
The supervisors are now mopping. And that's what I'm going to say later. Now.
You can say it now.
No, when I want my arguments to flow.
Oh, okay. Go on then.
Moderator, kindly protect me.
Let me see. His microphone is off.
For my friend here. Now we faced challenges, of course. The other one of logging some villages not in the enumeration in the enumeration system. Ssemujju constituency, we lost the staff and enumerator. One Sali, after counting on Saturday, he met a mob and reached him.
Oh dear.
Not about the process.
We think it is ordinary criminality because when they saw him lying down, they abandoned, left the tablet there, left the power bank there, left the tag and the charger, but they took his phone. So we recovered the materials from the police station in Ndatira yesterday, meaning the motive was not targeting the
census. But there's been a bit of a rise in such criminality.
Yes, I think later, that's why I say people want this census. After realizing that he was an enumerator and they saw his thing, they left, they abandoned him. So police is investigating. Then we lost another lady, Tivita, in Namayingo. She felt ill and was rushed to hospital. We are still waiting for postmortem about the cause of death. Those are two. Now another challenge I've faced are conflicts, boundary conflicts. Apa has taken the Champions Trophy. Between Ajumani and Amur, those ones took a long time. There is a Palaro Parish between Amur and Guru district. There is Ombechi and Legu. Yumbe calls it Ombechi and Legu. Obong is calling it Kali and Waka. They have different names, but they are the same villages. Same area. So those ones now enumerating them is now an issue. Then the last conflict area is Nyamisingira between Ntoroko and Akabarore. So we tried to talk to these people, the chief administrative officers who are the administrative heads even of these centers. They failed. In fact, like this, in Yumbe, they confiscated the tablets of enumerators who had been sent by Obonji, arrested him, and then we rescued the enumerator. Now, I've communicated that we must enumerate. As long as enumerators are coming from those contested areas, it's not a foreigner. I have written CDF and I have deployed soldiers, UPDF, to protect our enumerators. And now, everywhere the enumeration is going on. So these areas that have started late, we are going to give them a waiver to continue. We are going to give them a waiver to continue to compensate for the days lost, because it is 10 days work.
And that's a legal position.
Yes, that's the official position.
Yeah.
The days are administrative.
Yes,
Okay.
No, but if you didn't start because of conflict, of course you didn't work. For us we work. It is output-oriented management performance, and the enumerators are aware. So I think that's where we are. Now I'm getting reports from midnight. Now we are at 84.2%. By the end of the day, we shall be in 90-something%. And tomorrow we are mopping up. But I want to give opportunity to those who started late with those challenges to mop up. We are guiding the district officials. I have representative there and the district census officer who is a planner to ensure that they mop up. We have also heard that some enumerators are shortening the questions.
To hurry up.
So that they hurry up. And we are getting it from the system.
Could this have been done online? Like someone here, Alan Bick says, the ED doesn't know that there are people who live alone at their homes. When I leave for work, I lock up. And then Greens Kansime, regular listener, says, though random sampling shows half of Mbara city households haven't been counted. Mbarara.
No.
Mbara city.
For us, we have data. That one is
speculating.
Is a speculator. By yesterday, Mbarara city, you can check out. I'll give you the performance of Mbarara city. The online can't work in Uganda context. The reason, the internet penetration, there are 3 reasons. Internet penetration is still very low. Even now when enumerators are sending data, they have to move to a place nearby. So you would leave those ones behind. Secondly, we need the physical addressing system.
Physical I know.
Yeah,
I know Katuntu's home. Like
the physical addressing system.
I know Katuntu's home. To send things on internet, there's a mango tree you have to stand.
Yeah, so how would you enumerate that one?
In other places.
But we even don't know the addresses. In USA, where they do this, they even if when they are known, they make an announcement early. And we actually thought about this 2 years ago. They make an announcement early. In the last census of 2020, they had 42% who had registered for online. The other 58 said for us we want help. You remember when it went continuously, Donald Trump said no. I think the other people want to cheat and stopped. They have never released the census results in USA.
So it also happens
of course, because if you find that, no, he thought they are cheating.
I see on Twitter by our Edgar Tabari posted an enumerator crossing a swamp and making sure the tablet is held high. But before you conclude on this, let's have a discussion around the table. Beginning with you, Abdu.
Mbarara City for yesterday, as of yesterday, it was at 67%.
67%.
So that is not half of as per today. Today, I am sure it is above 77.
It will improve.
Yeah, and what I have done, because we trained the prison warders, the prison officers to enumerate prisoners, UPDF to enumerate them, and others. So those in Mbarara have been asked to beef up to ensure that today they mop up. Yeah. I have a lot of human capital down there.
Abdu, Dr. Mukiza gives himself 85% as of this minute, and he says he's bordering on 100%. For you, what percentage would you give him as of now?
I think you're asking a wrong person because I've not been yet counted. but having said that, I have no reason to doubt the figures it's giving. And if we have to go by those figures, I think the exercise is going as it should. When I see many people, and I'm happy Dr. Mukiza takes it in good faith, complaining, it's like we want to participate in this exercise. And really, to me, that's the most encouraging. You should be extremely happy that you have, because Ugandans are really so cynical. Very cynical about an exercise, national exercise. By now they will say, why are they? Is it about our money, our property? Is it about our families, our details? Yeah, but that you have of children. Yes, you have this population which is wholly embraced the exercise. I think that is a plus. I don't know whether it is because Ugandans know the.
You should have seen how we waited at home on Friday.
I stayed at home for 2 days. Remember when Dr. Mukiza walked in here, he didn't have a friend here. Even me, who is supposed to be his friend, I was like, what has he come to do? So let's continue and see what it is like by the close of tomorrow. What you'll have to do, in my view, when you look at the numbers tomorrow, end of tomorrow, then you'll need to exercise that administrative discretion you have, whether you can extend it by another day, and by trying to explain, actually even maybe going to the press and say, guys who now have not been counted, please, there is an opportunity. I'm sure those, you call it mopping up, those who are mopping up, and maybe since it will be, it will be Monday, you can have people stay home, at least to make sure that really they are now, because there will not be very many, and they will also be targeted because the households are known which have not been counted. Looks like the exercise from here, despite the challenges, especially at the beginning, it seems to have picked up, and if we are to go by the figures it's giving.
Honorable Ssemujju, 85% he has given himself so far.
Yeah, because this is a different, we are used to exercise books and people physically writing. It's very difficult to fault his figures because he gets information as the enumeration is taking place. But as I said last week, we are all interested in this information for planning as Parliament, but also there will be other political processes that will follow. So we are interested in this process. We've given it all our support. That's why I was complaining to him, even last week, because I called my councillors if I want to know what is taking place in the area. In some areas, you've done fairly well. In other areas, you are still, I'm not sure that you are even at 60%. Because in the village where I stay, the ones that took machines to Bulindo, I think that's why I have set some sort of a base. Those machines have never come back. So they are struggling, and our area, people are too many. So maybe my request will be for you to consider these areas for an extension the same way you are considering those that are under conflict. Because otherwise it is likely that by end of tomorrow you will not have finished 60% of Kira by tomorrow.
And someone is asking if these tablets will be used for 2034.
No, I had a problem in Parliament. I thought that the government needed to work together, not even just the tablets, but also the people that they have employed. Because soon you will have NERA going for mass registration. And I said you should have 20 the same people to do these things, and they don't exist. And maybe found maybe a technology that does both. I had issues with them. The way they do infrastructure. You'll have UNRWA, as soon as they finish a road, National Water will come to open it.
To dig up. So, Lydia, I have Joe online says, Sir, online census is possible in Uganda. UCC can reach everyone with a phone, and they have all our particulars. UCC can even disconnect your phone in a wink if they want. Yeah, what do you say to that, Lydia?
Sometimes that everybody has a phone, and this phone, me, I use Kabiri.
I first of all, I want to congratulate Dr. Mukiza and you, boss, for having pulled off going forward the exercise, because I just said that it has created the interest and the national concern. You can imagine if you had begun this exercise and nobody turns up or people ignore it. So this enthusiasm should be a plus on your side and fully embrace it. And the updating every other day when you say now this is what we have received, it's also good to give the country an update so that there's a debate on the figures going forward, because that has also been interesting. But as you end, like what you're saying, mopping up, be mindful of people who are beginning to have delegations to come for matters. They are now leaving. Have they been counted? They are, the ones of Nebi have now reached Chiriandongo. So there are these big delegations that are beginning to move towards it. That's one. The second issue, when the reason I think why I was counted at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. on Census Day, it rained very heavily in the morning.
Okay, in Mbale.
In Mbale. So there are those areas that are difficult to reach.
You had arranged that they come at 8 a.m.?
I woke up at 6 in the morning and I sat. But the point I'm trying to raise is that in areas that are difficult to reach, for example, Elgon, where it has been raining, and their team got disrupted. Power went off, the terrain is difficult. Maybe they also require a consideration because there are floods, areas which have floods. The Bunyangabo people have even died. So I thought that you can be mindful of that.
Robert?
But we are all eager to get the final results so that we can use, especially for me, especially women. I've encouraged them to say their right age and right names so that we can plan for them better.
Age. Actually, with the age, you have to encourage them to say the right age.
Right, because the age is important.
Well, what about the man's salary?
And also their names.
What about the man's salary?
I'm not so sure whether you would have got the right answer.
I have run a very aggressive campaign
I
about
haven't
age
been counted.
for women.
Is that question there?
It helps to plan.
It is there. So, Robert.
So now, of course, the digital census. The digital census is a plus, real time, and maybe if it were analog, maybe we wouldn't have the statistics already coming in. So that is a plus for UBOS and for Uganda. But just as I've said, just like Ssemujju's constituency, densely populated. Nansana municipality is densely populated. I don't know how far they have gone. Hey, so those areas. Yeah, we have.
You still have interest in answer.
For the people.
Go on.
For the people, they must be counted. I know there are some people. There are some people who are already, and he must be aware, who are waiting to say, "I was not counted on the last day." So that and it will be on social media everywhere. People are maybe are going to post themselves. Have not been posted, counted. So you must have administratively a way to manage that noise that is already going to come in after tomorrow, after Sunday. But good enough, Sunday is like a public holiday. Maybe your enumerators should be told to mop, and everybody who is not counted should inform the chairpersons. Chairpersons of the villages should not to UBOS, but at least the chairpersons in the village. The chairpersons have not been so active. That's what.
Okay. We go back to Dr. Mukiza. Back to you for the conclusion on this topic. I have a word that says, on leakages. Government leakages remind me of the times the late Bastogans and lost several briefcases. The thieves thought he was carrying documents. These days, technology has changed everything, so the census must consider technology as well. Then the gentleman dispute says people with capability transact with the Electoral Commission when the register is being updated. So that is possible. Public sector institutional coordination is critical to save resources. That's Mike in Kampala. So your own microphone, final word.
Yes, I want to thank you for your input. We are user-oriented. That's one of our core value. And we want to produce demand-driven statistics. The suggestions you have made, the administrative consideration of those who started late.
Sorry, there's this one says, as an enumerator, I spent 9 days using my money for training. Now again, closing 8th day today, I'm using my money. Nothing has been done even at my home. So what reassurance can you give him?
Yes, every enumerator will get his money and directly, no intermediary.
Okay.
I think why it is delaying is that the officials at the district are sending details of these enumerators with their telephone numbers. Now, if the telephone number comes in a different name, of course the e-cash doesn't. And we wanted them long ago.
Yeah.
Ensure that the telephone number is registered in your name, not even your mother, because it will be a different person. Yeah. So that could be all
so
the
you
districts.
Are concluding?
All the districts could. So we are going to consider that for his constituency. I think the Nansana area is complete. We have today taken all the enumerators to Usukuma. Usukuma was yes, Usukuma in Nansana. That one towards Matuga was the one which was still lacking. So we are on the ground and eyes are on the ball. For my neighbor here, we are going to comb.
Those in Kasokos.
We are going to deploy, and the Kasokoso is doing well. The only problem is around Nigeria there, in those flats and Burindo. I don't know whether Burindo is part of your area. So for those who have not been counted, reach to your LCs or reach to me. Now my phone or Didaka's phone who is there. Now I want to go with the address. I have a representative in every district. I have a district census commissioner representative who is getting those people who have not been counted. What have you? So from here,
Dinaka is what? Is a commissioner?
Who?
You said Dinaka is here.
Dinaka is a senior senior public relations officer. Who is the one who gets those things coming to me.
Okay.
So we are going to.
So you can come and mention his phone number here.
Come on air and mention your phone number.
for sure you have now spoken on the gang.
Yeah.
Thank you, Census Commissioner and the moderator and all the panelists present. My name is Didaka Sokoth, Senior Public Relations Officer, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. My number is 0755 34 2128.
This is the one for WhatsApp.
That's the one for WhatsApp.
Okay.
The alternative is 0773.
It was okay to give one.
2128. Thank you.
But data cast before you go get his physical address and him, because they are the ones who have not been counted yet. So that as we live here, somebody will respond to your questions.
Okay, so thank you very much. Any parting word?
Yes, the parting
Dr.
word is
Mukiza?
to thank Ugandans for their enthusiasm and their support. The enumerators you have seen this enumerator in Uyende.
Swimming.
Yeah.
Trying to reach the household. But I also want to see the census officer why you would allow such a person to risk because you don't know the depths of the water.
Yes.
That was a risk.
Or maybe he's a local person.
Yeah.
So thank you.
But we shall recognize such people. And if he has the requisite qualification, this is a very good data collector, which should be in our base.
A hero.
Yes.
Thank you, Star Cafe, for powering gang. Dr. Mukiza, I hope you took something from Star Cafe, didn't carry a chapati in your pocket. Thank you, Honorable Ssemujju Katuntu, Kasule Sewunya Wanyoto. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for participating in gang. The listeners, thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend and make sure you're counted. I am Oskar Musoke, and I shall see you next week.